Good morning, guys. A little bit later than normal, but all the same. Let's do the morning digest. So there's some breaking news coming out of Poland right now, so we're going to revisit the China topic from yesterday, especially after the comment that I got. So first and foremost, I want to say thank you for your insight as far as calling me out on my ignorance. Now, I'm the first to admit when I don't have the whole picture right, and you are 100% correct in the assertion that you made yesterday as far as Israel being a major player in everything that's going on and China being a distraction, as well as Putin not being necessarily a good guy. And I get what you're saying there, and what really hit me was when I was watching that video and this British guy is sitting there and he's like, you want to know what really drives me nuts is when Americans sit there and clap for Putin and say good for him, he's doing the best for his people. And he says straight up, it's great propaganda, like, good for Putin, but at the same time, Americans are freaking ridiculous. And you know what? That struck a chord. So we're going to readdress what I talked about yesterday and mention the side that I neglected to go into depth about. And it's not that I don't necessarily know what's going on, it's that I didn't put the pieces together in the same way you did. And that made you reevaluate the whole situation, right? And that's what you should do. Now, I think there were good points you made. However, I think there's some things that I still don't agree with, and that's fine. The main takeaway from the video you gave me to watch is Israel has their hands on every technology right now you can possibly imagine. The entire infrastructure for the Internet of Things is developed in Israel. And not only that, but Israel is feeding all of that technology straight to China, just like Hillary Clinton was. And what you're saying on top of that is Putin is more than likely involved in the whole thing, siding with China, with the Belt and Road and all of that. And I get how you can say that because let's be 100% honest with ourselves. Yeah, Putin's going along with the Belt and Road. But I still have a serious issue with the fact that Putin ended up getting rid of the private banks inside his country. So there's that anomaly in the whole equation, right? Is why would China still allow China and Israel, because another big point was China's not really the head honcho in this whole situation. We're going after the soft target and leaving the hard target alone, the one that's really doing the damage, right? And I totally get that. But what I'm saying is, why would China allow Putin to withdraw from the International Monetary Fund and all of that stuff, completely privatize his economy from the outside world? Why would they allow him to come back into the Belt and Road and not be able to have his currency be manipulated like the rest of the people buying into this system? Now, the reason Israel is buying into the Belt and Road is because, like I said, they have control over all of the infrastructure, backdoors into everything. Now, they made the connection in this video that Israel is brain draining Russia, and they're using Russian programmers to backdoor program stuff to NVIDIA, AMD, all of the internet chips, everything that has to do with IT infrastructure, right? But my question is, did we not do the same thing as the United States for the longest time as far as Operation Paperclip and all of this stuff? Like, we brain drained the entire world after World War II, right? Now, I get what you're saying. The issue is that it's not us doing it this time. It's Israel, and we're allowing Israel to do this. And you can't really argue that fact when it comes to Donald Trump. You're right. You're right. If that was the straw that broke the camel's back when it came to Trump with you, I can totally understand it. Because it does make absolutely no sense in any way, shape, or form to have Jared Kushner on your council of freaking going out and doing all these foreign diplomatic runs and policies and all of this stuff. The kid has absolutely no experience at all, and if you look at who Kushner's tied to, that's where things start getting really scary. So I can understand why you have a bad taste in your mouth when it comes to Trump and Israel, especially how Netanyahu's been acting lately. Like, yeah, that's some stuff you have to start worrying about when he says cyber power is the real power, and he has open quotes about how America as a golden calf that we're going to break into pieces and suck dry and they're stupid enough to let us do it and strong enough to let us do it over and over again. Like, you have to start wondering about where Trump's intentions really lie. But at the same time, you're starting to see action being taken against Israel as far as giving away this technology to China. And I commend the people that were behind the scenes, and the rest of us were blind that this was going on, to be putting it out there so it got enough coverage to make people start asking enough questions where they had to start acting on this. Now, this video also addressed the distinction between the fact that the Jesuits don't have the power when it comes to the Israeli technology market, right? That's all under Jewish control, and it's completely separate from the Zionists. Now, what I also find as an anomaly is if you look at Trump, right? Trump was Jesuit trained. He has 3 Jesuit advisors who ultimately are the antithesis of the establishment within inside Israel, correct? So if Trump has these 3 guys as his advisors, what's going on behind the scenes, right? I mean, in the art of war, it teaches you to keep your enemies as close as possible, and if possible, make it seem as though they are your best friend. So perhaps the long game here was play long enough to figure out what the plan actually was, and then make the counter move. Okay, that might be fantastic thinking. Like, I'm not saying that that's gonna happen. However, I'm putting it into the equation because this is where my mind goes. Like, because if I'm thinking along these lines, I know damn well Donald Trump has, and I know his advisors have. And I also understand there's a lot of intelligence that floats around out there that I myself am not privy to, and that right there is where I'm at a huge disadvantage, right? I haven't been doing this long enough to have sources that are calling me up or emailing me and giving me tidbits of information here and there for me to put pieces to the puzzle together that other people haven't already talked about. And honestly, I hope that happens at some point, but until then, all I can do is give you my best guess based on what I've researched and seen. And you're right in saying I was ignorant because I hadn't seen those videos. However, I did know for a fact that Alex Jones has been carrying water for Israel for a very, very long time. He's straight up Mossad funded. And I went back and I watched that debate between Owen Schroyer and that green guy there, and Owen got his ass handed to him. What scares me about that whole scenario is apparently Mr. Green there, the guy that dropped all that info on InfoWars about Israel actually being the key holder when it came to China, they signed that guy up to do full-time broadcasts on InfoWars. Now, if Alex Jones is Mossad funded, and I know for a fact he is, why in the hell would somebody like this kid that's out there spreading all this good information end up working for the enemy? And if I know that Alex is Israeli-backed and Mossad-backed, I know this kid knows that he is. So did this kid not just sell out? Did he sell out? That's the question you have to ask yourself. And if he managed to get all this information out there on InfoWars, which I, in my opinion, believe is a complete opposition-controlled disseminator of information, it just puts into question everything I just talked about. Now, it doesn't detract from the fact that it's 100% possible, but at the same time, if this guy's getting on Alex Jones and managing to get all of this information out to all of Alex's followers and making Alex look like an absolute fool, and then turns around and starts working for Alex, what does that say about the information he put out? Doesn't it make it a little less credible? I mean, I'm still going to pay attention to what he said, and I'm going to start doing a lot more research into it. But that just raises a huge red flag for me. A huge red flag. Now, Donald Trump also announced today that troops are starting to come home. I'm curious to see how long it's going to take us to get all of our troops out of Syria. Now, something else that was mentioned in that video is that Donald Trump removing our troops from Syria is a bad thing, because it allows Israel, China, and Russia to come in there and play the role of the good guys. Well, here's my question for you. Is anything ever good enough? Because we've been bitching for years and years and years for Donald Trump or anybody to pull these troops out of foreign theaters. And as soon as somebody does, what happens? all of a sudden there's a conspiracy theory out there that they're doing it in order to weaken our position. Like, come on, guys. It just blows my freaking mind. And no, I'm not holding Donald Trump's hand. That's not what this is about. I don't care who brings home the troops. I'm just saying we've asked for long enough for this to happen. And now that it does, everybody's saying that it's just because the puppet strings are getting pulled. I don't know, man. If you still think Donald Trump is part of the establishment, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't agree with you. Plain and simple there. Just plain and simple. I don't see why a billionaire would risk life and limb, risk his family's life and limb, to go out there and absolutely demolish all of the pedophiles. Like, you can't deny that there's more pedophiles than you can even imagine that have been arrested since he's been president. Like, and you don't arrest that many people without knowing that those crimes were taking place before Trump got in office. You just know. They knew long beforehand. Trump was the one that pulled the trigger on it. So how many people let it go on for how long, man? And how deep does that rabbit hole go? And now all of a sudden he's out there calling it out, fucking talking about child trafficking and trafficking limit at the border. Goes on the news and pulls out freaking 50 caliber freaking Berettas and a huge bag of cash and drugs out the ass, and he's like, this is what's coming over the border. And you know what? If it wouldn't be too sickening for the American people to see, man, he should show you the aftermath of what happens to some of these women and children that they find in the fucking desert. Like, I don't know. He might be doing some stuff people don't like, and you know what? I can't tell you how we could even go about fixing what we see wrong and how he's approaching those issues and how he supports Israel. Like, my viewers are probably 50-50 on this because I know most people I know are 50-50 on supporting Israel to begin with. Like, I don't know, I'm not comfortable with them having access to all of this technology that's being put everywhere as far as the Internet of Things. Like, no, I think that bullshit needs to stop, and I agree with you there. But at the same time, I don't think Donald Trump is setting America up to be Israel's fuckboy. I don't think he's selling America short like that. And you know what? That's a matter of opinion and ultimately a matter of faith. Like, I mean, I appreciate you watching my videos, and if you disagree, we disagree, but hopefully it's only on a thing here and there, nothing major, you know what I'm saying? So, I just want to sum things up by stating that I'm glad to see people aren't blindly following somebody, and at the same time it encourages me to know that I can still learn every single day. You know what I'm saying? That even though this is the same topic we talked about yesterday, I get to look at it from a whole new angle and share my opinion with people who actually want to listen to it. So I just want to say thank you. God bless, and please just pray that these troops do come home in an orderly fashion. I have a feeling there's something that may happen to prevent it, so if you could just join me in praying that that doesn't happen, I'd appreciate it. Have a good morning, guys.